qualification. Those are the only two methods of registration for the state under the Uniform Securities Act. The word coordination itself means, right, it's linking, it's coordinating with something else. That being, of course, the SEC registration. Most of us know from the 33 Act, all securities have to be registered with the SEC. So what they do is simply coordinate with all the states. Over 90% of all new issues are done through coordination. So every new IPO you hear about, SEC and coordination, right? They coordinate the federal registration with the state registration. Now, if there is no SEC registration, we know some of us, depending on what test we take, there's exceptions to the SEC registration, like Reg D, intra-state offerings. So since we have no SEC to coordinate with, that's when we use qualification. Most of those for Series 63 are intra-state offerings, when the security is only issued in a state. Then we use qualification because we don't have the SEC behind us. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Right. And by the way, I would know, Brian isn't a stickler like I am for numbers, but that's a Rule 147 offering. What is a Rule 147 offering? It's an intrastate offering with securities, and kind of really read carefully, RTFQ. You don't have to register an intrastate offering with the SEC, but as Brian just laid out, you most certainly have to register that through qualification with the state administrator. Brian, how testable do you think it is? I make this distinction, so let you know what you
on
think.
The Series 66.
Well, here's my point. The only registration that is not December 31st, and I'll stand corrected if Brian wants to correct me, is a securities registration. That qualification is good not till December 31st, like everything else. Right. It's good for a year. Testable distinction, Brian? What do you think? No or yes?
Good question. I think it's low probability about that 1 year, one calendar year, but it possibly could. There's generally only one question on this.
Yes. So, when we're talking about registration of securities, registration of broker-dealers, registration of agents of broker-dealers, registrations of investment advisors, registration of investment advisor reps, 2, 3 on securities, 2, 3, 4 on broker-dealers, the vast majority of those registration questions or equals coming are in investment advisory firms registering with either the SEC or state administrator, never both. I have a video I'll link to called Who's Your Daddy? It's one or the other. And then investment advisor reps. I think that, would you agree, Brian, that's the biggest bucket of those questions?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.